Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. Hope you guys are great. And today I'm going to be talking about something that everybody's been wanting me to talk about. We're talking about the newest item in the crown shop, which sells for 100,000 crowns. This has to be like one of the dumbest valuations I've ever seen, considering crowns are literally fake currency. You can make something worth 1 crown or 1,000,000 crowns if you really wanted. But the fact that they did this for 100,000 is just really crazy. But there's a lot to dive in when it comes to specifically this bundle. It has some history. There's a lot to talk about. I want to look at all sides of this story. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So a little over 3 years ago, and you can actually find this video on my channel, a lot of the community was actually very annoyed because they did a crowns reward where basically the top reward was a $700 mount. And the way the crowns reward works, you guys can actually see it at the bottom right. If you can view the active crowns reward event, you'll see that spending more crowns gets you more items. Now, as you can see, right, what they used to do was a lot worse. Now, you actually have to spend 50,000 crowns, I guess, on whatever that you want, and you'll get whatever this is. I think it's an emote, I guess, whatever, you know, if you want it, whatever. Instead of 50,000, y'all, it used to be like 500,000. That's why people were, I think it might have been a little bit more. Basically, 500,000 crowns for basically, you know, some cosmetic item. And that's what that old crowns reward was. They've gone a long way, but now they're bringing back the mistakes of the past. It's a little crazy. So that previous crowns reward gave basically a nightcap, just very similar to this one. It gave a robe, very similar to this one, and it gave boots, very similar to this one. Not to mention the fact that there was a wand that was very unique, and of course the mount. And this is, I think, a reskin, but I believe it's a 55% speed mount. The highest speed on a mount that you'll ever see in this game. Obviously, this is absolutely crazy, right? I mean, 100,000 crowns for anything in this game. I mean, you would assume that at least it would, like, I don't know, affect your gameplay a little bit. It seems that they just want to make whatever this, like, set is into something super high value, and people that actually paid $700 for it in the past, now they're just gonna get, they're basically, the exclusivity of that item is absolutely out the window because now people can get it for even less. So not only are they repeating the mistakes in terms of valuing items at such a high level from the past, they're also screwing over the people that actually happened to get it maybe just because they liked how it looked. There's so much to unpack on that one, but I wanted to talk about one thing that I just think that it needs to be said about this. I don't think it matters who bought it in the past or who's buying this bundle now, right? Whether they spent $700 3 years ago or they're buying all these crowns to buy this now. I honestly don't think that they're relevant to the conversation that I think we should all be having. And it's a fact that what does this bundle say about how KingsIsle views us as players of the game? To me, the Sleepy Agent bundle makes it seem like there are a few people that are willing to spend a lot of money on this game, and instead of rewarding them with, you know, actual like incentives for their loyalty, this looks, right, what it looks like is it looks like KingsIsle is just seeing walking money bags and they're trying to like milk them dry. Whether that's actually what's happening or not, I think what it looks like, the optics of it, is extremely important. I think the second the community looks at the company that they're supporting, and this is that relationship that they seem to be like, you know, putting into the air, then you might actually lose the loyalty that you had to begin with. 3.5 years ago, and I will link this video if you guys want to see it, although I will say this, my voice sounded cringe back then, so, you know, do with that what you will. The community was very united about how much they hated this idea, and it wasn't just because it's a lot of crowns for an item that they really wanted. It's because there's something fairly predatory about it. Not to mention the whole dilemma with kids using their parents' money to play this game, not to mention that whole element. When you value items super highly with crowns, you really open the door to people making mistakes with their purchases and children just literally making mistakes with their parents' money. And the most important part, right, whether, you know, you're entitled to how you want to spend your money. If it's purely cosmetic, it's not a game breaker, but I think this does damage the trust that someone who does pay a lot of crowns for KingsIsle, like, maybe it damages that trust a little bit. Especially, think about someone who paid that much money 4 years ago, how they feel right now. They felt like they had an exclusive item, and now that trust is gone. And everyone who didn't spend that money, they're seeing a repetition of a mistake that shouldn't have happened to begin with. There's an element of trust there that's also eroding. I think it's not a coincidence that just 2 days ago I made a video about how stupid some of their bundles really are. And I was talking about how the very selling point of this is flawed, because yes, you can get all of these items and save 5,000 crowns on whatever this bundle is. Get all these items and save 455 crowns if you really wanted to. But at the end of the day, all of these savings are irrelevant because the actual things that comprise the bundle, they could just be overpriced. And in this case, it's very obvious that they are. When not only do you advertise these bundles as money-saving things, one, but two, when you bring it to an extreme like this, it just seems dishonest. You're not really saving any money at all, really, with most of these bundles. You're saving money based on the value that King's House already placed on them, which is already turning a profit. I think they need to reevaluate how much crowns ought to, you know, be worth when it comes to individual items, and they definitely need to reevaluate how these bundles are pushed to the community, especially when these are exclusive items that people used to have after spending a lot of money, and now you're just doing it at a discount. It's a gigantic screw you to those people, and also it's just a gigantic screw you to people where this is just extremely unaccessible. You look at a crown shop, you see that, and you're like, what am I playing? Like, that's a question that'll go through your mind. I think what I'm most disappointed in is the fact that, you know, there was a reacquisition. We've talked about this multiple times in my videos, but, you know, it's worth noting. There's a parent company, Gamigo, and this company from 2 years ago, a lot of people were criticizing them, right? They were criticizing them because they said that they were going to make the game more pay to win and unbearable for the average player. And I feel like they should be aware of this impression. I don't think that the people that are, you know, higher up at Gamigo, I don't think they're unaware of the fact that there's a lot of people from Wiz that have noticed that the way past games have been treated, and they're wary of it. And here's the thing, I actually don't, I'll say this on their side, I don't think this is a pay to win thing. I really don't. I mean, a 55% mount versus a 50% mount that you get from other sources, it's not really pay to win. But when you're aware of the opinion that some people might actually have, right? That they might have that, like where, you know, people have this impression that Gamigo milks games dry to the point where they die. If you're aware of that and you put this out, what it does is, even without you actually milking the game really in a pay to win type of way, you're still advancing that opinion, and people will use this against you, and it will lose players that weren't even paying money to begin with. It'll lose them from ever re-entering this economy, this atmosphere, whatever Wiz is trying to build. I think weighing the few people that will buy 100,000 crowns for this against the vast majority of people that will look at this and see something very schemy, I think that's a choice that's been made that I just don't think it works. I think when there's already like an expectation that they might do this, and they go even mildly in this direction, it makes players like me that have been playing this game a long time very frustrated, but it also makes people that make it their personality to hate on the game, it makes them empowered. And I think that's a very big shame, because I don't think this game is dying anytime soon. I think it's things like this that advance a sentiment that it might. And that sentiment, if you give it enough fuel, it'll grow into a massive fire, and that is something you want to avoid. I think that is something that I would advise people at Gamigo to think about. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think there's a start of a huge pattern of bad things to come when it comes to bundles, when it comes to how crowns are evaluated? Or do you think it's a relatively harmless thing that's just going to piss off people because they see people just, you know, probably it's just a money-making thing, and that's it? And if they're making money, who cares? It's good for the King's Isle if they make the money. Let me know what you guys think. I think both arguments have validity. Obviously, I think I'm a little biased on this one, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and if somebody has not told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong, so stay awesome, y'all. And yeah.